Welcome to this week's episode of Animation School. In the past couple of weeks, I've taught you how to animate a walk cycle, how to set up your basic setup, and also how to animate jumping. This week, we're going to work at and learn how to animate throwing. So, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below any other things you'd like to learn over the coming few weeks. This will be a continuous series, so we'll build up to anything more complex, like a fight scene will be a bit later on once we've learned and covered all the fundamentals. So, if you enjoy the series, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I release every episode a few days early on a Wednesday on my Patreon, link in the description. So this is the video. So for this week's lesson, you're going to need a base plate, a minifigure, an object to throw. I've decided this little TNT piece. A clear Lego rod, ideally with studs on both ends, and that it's not too thick in the middle or on the ends, because you want it to be as invisible as possible to the camera. Then you want your phone stand and the lighting setup we spoke about in episode 1. If you haven't watched that, go check it out. It's all part of a playlist on my channel called Animation School. So I'm going to go set up the setup, and then I'll talk you through how we're going to do the animation. Normally I'd like to show you a 2-step of how to animate things like this. Like last week I showed you the simple jump and then the more complex jump with the bending in the second one. However, this week there's not really much I can do with that. Actually, I'm going to move my lights out the way. Other than this one. Yo, light. Oh. Hello. Yeah, I'm weird really. But we all are, aren't we? So yeah, basically, I'm going to give myself a bit more light for you. Let me see if this will work. Yeah, that'll work. No, maybe not. Yeah, that'll work. Can't need to be able to show you. So basically, I also have another light up there, which is a ring light, which I always have. It's basically my desk light. But basically, how you're going to animate this is you step by step move the minifigure's arm up. I like to bend the figure back a bit. Gives you a bit more power. Because if you're throwing, you're not just going to go like that normally. Normally lean back a bit. So you could twist, but simply it's just easier to do that. And that's normally how I do it. Especially because currently I'm only really teaching the basics of animation, so that's the best way to do it at the moment. You lean the figure back, and then as you lean forward, at about that point, you would angle whatever you're throwing out like that, still connected to the minifigure's hand. And then this is where you need a bit of blue tack or white tack or some sort of sticky tack, but not very sticky. That's why blue tack's ideal. And then you can just put it in the minifigure's hand to hold whatever you're throwing. I'm using a bit of dynamite at an angle out like that, because then they can throw that. And then this is where it gets a bit more complex. You're going to need to move the minifigure's hand down. While how I'm going to animate this is attaching the blue tack to the end of the TNT and using the clear stick to basically approximately put it in the right place. And you're going to basically create an arch. So, I'm going to attach that like that to the TNT, and then as the frames, you're going to angle it like that, that, and then like that. So each frame you move position, and then work on it until you get a nice clean animation. I normally sometimes shoot this 2 to 3 times just to be able to get the cleanest arch, because the positioning when doing it how I do it can get a bit wrong, but it's a good way to do it and it works a lot of the time. But the only problem is you're using your hand, so ideally you'd have some sort of grip to hold it, but I don't have one of them, but it's not needed. So yeah, basically you just place the TNT or whatever it is at different points in the frame. And then you don't need to do like step by step all the way across, because that would make it a bit too slow. So yeah, I'm going to show you how I show you my animation of it now. But if you want to see like a frame by frame guide on how I did it, go check out the Google Drive link in the description. That has the walk cycle step by step, the jumping basic and complex step by step, and also I will be uploading this, and it will go frame by frame on how the throw works, and it will be my animation just broken down frame by frame. So yeah, let's show you that. So you just saw the animation I just did, and overall pretty happy with it, and you can see the rough idea of how to do it. A couple of pointers on one of the mistakes I made when animating this time, and didn't check until I was like afterwards. You should always check this as you're shooting it, but when my finger got in the frame slightly, which, as this was just like testing and things, doesn't overly matter. But if you were going to animate this in a film or short film or episodes or something, that would be a major mistake, and is a mistake that can happen quite a lot. Even if you just put your hand in the background or something, it could happen. That's one thing that I highly recommend you try and take note of, that you make sure your hand isn't casting a shadow or in the background or something, and make sure your hands are well out the way as you take the photo. This one is a bit harder because you need to hold this, but just hold it slightly higher up, which could be difficult, but you should be able to do it. So I hope all these tips help you learn how to animate throwing. If you want to see next week's episode early, check it out on Patreon. It will be released on Wednesday, and then it will be released for free on Sunday. But if you do help support the project on Patreon, although you get extra content early, and you also get a few extra perks, and also you help support the project for the Lego Movie 0.5, which is a fan film I'm making, which will be a prequel to the first Lego Movie, aiming to be 90 minutes long. It's probably going to be quite an expensive project, and I'm funding it completely out of my own pocket. So if you can help in any way, please do. But that's all for today. So this is From the Stud signing out. Bye!